That's the way love goes.
See, now people are asking pop star Britney Spears, hey, got milk? And she can officially answer yes. Come on, baby, drink more milk. Teen queen Britney Spears spills up a storm, all for that perfect milk mustache, as she glams it up for her second Got Milk ad campaign.
Every morning I drink milk and cereal. Like I'm just a cereal freak. I drink cereal and milk before actually I go to bed at night.
This is the 100th vaunted milk mustache ad, and Britney, for one, definitely has her favorites.
I really like Jennifer Love Hewitt's. Hers was really cool. She was like had the pancakes and everything. It was really natural. I thought that was hot. The Backstreet Boys, theirs was really cool. I like that. So hopefully they'll dig mine as much as they dig theirs. I'm always drinking milk. I really am. So I think it's really important that being on the road and everything, it's important that you have the right vitamins and minerals in your body and everything, just to have energy. And so I think it's really important.
Do you remember print ads like this and like this, or even commercials like this? If so, then you remember that the Got Milk ad campaign was one of the most popular marketing movements in entertainment, stemming from the dairy industry's want and need to change the narrative around milk consumption in order to increase sales after World War I. Got Milk implemented the use of celebrity endorsements by way of the milk mustache and messages of strong bones and other forms of productivity and empowerment to push the agenda. Despite there being an increasing decrease of milk sales over the last 50 years, and those positive health and quality of life claims being hit or miss, Got Milk advertisements were an industry standard and a rite of passage. Anyone of note in the 90s and 2000s had their own campaign, and milk became cool. This is the story of how Got Milk ruled pop culture. Before the war, producing and consuming milk was not common. There were pockets of adults that drank milk, such as being used as an alternative for working class men to drink instead of alcohol, and in general, dairy was a foodstuff that was preservable in harsh winter climates. But milk was primarily reserved as a quote-unquote pure food for babies and small children. Technically, milk wasn't even ideal to drink the more it moved through the production and distribution process, as refrigeration and pasteurization technology had not yet been developed, which often led to mass poisoning and even death. But during the First World War, the government sent condensed and powdered milk to soldiers to fight the malnutrition that they endured. Despite the preservation concerns, as we all know, milk still contains calcium and tons of vitamins and minerals. This became so commonplace that farmers focused all of their time, energy, and efforts to the cause. But when the war ended, those farmers ended up with a lot of milk and nothing to do with it. Instead of decreasing or stopping production, they went in the opposite direction because they had already invested all of their resources into the dairy game. When the value of milk continued to drop, dairy farmers became so disgruntled that they began to pour out their milk in retaliation in hopes that it would raise the value again. The government took notice of the chaos, and in order to maintain order, officials struck deals with the farmers with the goal of convincing the public to drink more milk. As a result, nutrition programs in schools promoted milk with every meal. Despite the mandatory inclusion of milk in schools, remaining stock being sent to the military and other health and relief efforts, and milk being dropped off daily on doorsteps by the neighborhood milkman, there was still more supply than demand, so the government bought the extra and ended up with dairy surpluses in underground caves. With other drinks such as soda becoming more popular, the public had more ambitious and fun brands to consume, and the dairy caves were overflowing with product. The government continued to buy and store milk, cheese, and butter in these caves until the Reagan administration cut funding, all while giving the cheese away to welfare programs. In order to prevent another value collapse, dairy farmers worked with Congress to create the dairy checkoff in response to the decrease in funding. The dairy checkoff required farmers to pay into a fund to create and maximize advertisements for milk consumption. As we headed into the 90s, dairy was big business, and the government had a vested interest in our daily consumption of multiple glasses of milk per day, as well as an increase of dairy in our food intake.
You know, some guys my age, man, they forget about drinking milk. I don't know why. Maybe they forget how good milk is. Milk's great. It's natural, it's satisfying. I like it when it's ice cold. You just can't beat it. So don't you forget it. I'm drinking milk for good.
It all began with this commercial.
And that was the Vienna Wood Dance in D, one of my all-time favorites. And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander Hamilton in that famous duel? All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there. Hello, for $10,000. Who shot... Excuse me? I'm afraid your time is almost up. I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Got milk?
Well, let's rewind. Before distress was being caused by not having a glass of milk to wash your troubles away, the California Milk Processor Board was utilizing the dairy checkoff to generate sales. The board enlisted the services of advertising agency Goodby Silverstein and Partners for ideas. John Steele of Goodby Silverstein led a focus group asking participants to not consume milk for the week leading up to their conversation. According to this Fast Company article, when the respondents showed up, they were a little anxious about being deprived of the household staple. One man relayed his experience of coming downstairs to the kitchen in the morning before work, pouring out his cereal, slicing bananas on top of it, and then remembering his promise of abstinence. An ethical dilemma arose. The man later admitted to Steele. Would he use milk and simply lie to the rest of the focus group? Or would he throw out the cereal? Worse yet, would he eat the cereal without milk? This man's experience was echoed throughout the other participants. It was even the catalyst for Jeff Goodby and Rich Silverstein to conduct their own experiment on the rest of the agency by getting rid of the office's break room milk supply. After witnessing everyone's hypomanic states of confusion and frustration when searching for the milk, they compiled all of these stories of deprivation to create Got Milk. In retrospect, the slogan was a rather taunting and doom-impending statement, when you take into consideration that instead of preaching the benefits of milk via generic "it's good for you" quotes, Goodby Silverstein chose to hyper-focus on bad, if not life-threatening situations occurring if you did not drink milk. Eventually, the famous Aaron Burr commercial aired on October 29, 1993. As you saw at the beginning of this segment, the advertisement featured a historian specializing in who shot Alexander Hamilton, not being able to answer that very trivia question clearly for a radio station's $10,000 prize, due to his mouth being full of a peanut butter sandwich and not having enough milk to wash the sandwich down. The commercial was directed by Michael Bay, yes, that Michael Bay, and was nominated for numerous awards. In 2002, it was named one of the top 10 commercials of all time by USA Today.
Mike Proctor is a student at Buckley University, and he's about to participate in a remarkable experiment. Heading the research effort, Dr. Iqbal Thiba.
The subject is 24 years old. We are trying to make it very comfortable for him. We have big screen television, video games, stereo, and of course plenty of his favorite food.
He will live inside this small chamber, cut off from all human contact, in the name of science. Alone.
Hey, this one's empty there, you know?
For the next 30 days.
Oh, no, guys! I didn't sign on for this! Guys, I got tons of cereal. Okay, it's okay. I know you're in there! I want some milk. He's dry now.
Fascinating.
Please, just a little bit.
Got milk.
Hey, look, just prepare yourself, okay? You don't have this, you don't have the hair, you don't have the goatee yet. But what you can do, kids, is you can have a milk mustache. This is one thing that I wanted to do with my career. I said, I have to be selected. I mean, I shot 1,000,001, milk mustache, pictures myself, but they didn't really count until I did this one. This is something that was very, very prestigious for me. And I'm very happy to have been a part of it, not only because of what I do as an artist, but also to support and encourage, healthy living. Having the proper nutrition that helps you to do it is also very important. What you put in is ultimately what you get out. So eating healthy is important. It's something that I wanted to encourage kids always. And also, drinking milk. It actually is really great for the development of us as teens, of us as young boys and girls.
Alongside commercials that showcase doomsday scenarios, most, if not all of us, remember our favorite actors, singers, athletes, and even animated characters being front and center with a milk mustache, accompanied by some charismatic bit about how milk has enhanced their life, what it could do for us, and followed up by the Got Milk slogan. These were full-page ads in magazines and posters in school cafeterias. You may even remember a plethora of Got Milk branded products, such as toys, kitchenware, and even clothing. Making milk a brand was the work of Jeff Manning, who was the executive director of the California Milk Processor Board. It was his idea to license the Got Milk slogan for free to different companies to stamp their products. In the mid-90s, the Milk Processor Education Program, or Milk PEP for short, worked with Bozell Ad Agency to create the first Milk Mustache ad with Naomi Campbell. Esteemed photographer Annie Leibovitz, known for her iconic Vanity Fair portraits, was highly recommended as the eye behind the camera. Annie works with us in selecting celebrities, contacting them, and creating the setting to put them in. The Milk Mustache campaign would not be as captivating as it is without the talent of Annie Leibovitz. You'll notice that Naomi's original ad says milk. What a surprise. That's because Got Milk and the Milk Mustache ads were intended to be two separate campaigns. Over time, the two were continuously grouped together in the public consciousness. So eventually, they officially became one, and star power became the name of the game.
You love me, but it always has been there. You love me, but it always has been there.
The characteristics of the Got Milk / Milk Mustache ads were all dependent on the premise of big, bold, familiar faces that tapped into the childhood ambition and wonderment of different demographics. At first, the ads were targeted towards women because of the belief that women needed milk to replenish bones. As the campaign grew and the message resonated with even more people, celebrities from different realms of the industry were brought in to appeal to everyone. Actually, celebrities weren't the first choice for who would be sporting the milk mustaches. Originally, it was supposed to be regular people in the ads, because of course, it's usually assumed that when a known personality is endorsing a product, it's all about the money. The idea of celebrity partnerships came from Charlie Decker, who was a member of the National Fluid Milk Processors with a background as an advertising executive. Going in that direction was ultimately decided upon out of love and respect for Charlie in the advertising industry. It was decided that all celebrities would be paid the same amount of $25,000 to participate because, of course, the company would not be able to pay each personality their usual booking fees. Participating in the campaign was pitched as something for the greater good of the public's health over your usual brand deal. The celebs could also choose to donate their earnings to charity if they wanted to. Every participant had to actually be a milk drinker for authenticity. Whoopi Goldberg, who is lactose intolerant, always wanted to be a part of the campaign, but for that reason, she wasn't able to, until the brand branched out and created their first ad for lactose-free milk. Print ads specific to chocolate milk were also created due to chocolate milk's history with athletic recovery, and let's be honest, it's chocolate. Why not tap into the sweet tooth market at the same time? The concept of a poster campaign was decided upon because it demanded attention, keeping the text informal and to a minimum with a couple of nutritional and health facts sprinkled throughout encouraged camaraderie instead of coming off as preachy. Over time, as the campaign became a major pop culture movement, with teens collecting, trading, and selling the ads online, the campaign being highly discussed and parodied on television, and the Got Milk website having thousands of hits per week. Instead of having to reach out, Got Milk sometimes had more requests from celebrities than they could accommodate. Here's a personal story that I'd like to share. I remember a team of Got Milk representatives coming to my elementary school and setting up a photo shoot area where all of the kids could come and take their own milk mustache picture. They of course had milk samples for us to drink. I say milk in quotations because I remember thinking that it tasted more like a vanilla milkshake. It definitely wasn't just milk. So even though milk mustaches happen, they aren't nearly as thick and maintainable for a photo shoot as something like a milkshake. So it's always been a conspiracy theory of mine that there was a special recipe in order to achieve maximum mustache excellence for the ads. Did anyone else have this experience?
It's a great thing. I mean, for growing young people, and for even for older people. It's an everyday part of life. It goes with cereal, cookies, everything. So I just think even doing this, just to get more people to do it, would be good.
I say, especially people that are very active in sports or dancing like what we do, definitely need strong bones for that, and definitely your calcium intake. And milk is, one of the best ways of getting that.
To think that we're going to be posted up on lockers and stuff as a milk ad.
Today we are in Los Angeles, California, and we're in Smashbox Studio. I always thought that the milk mustache ad was very, very cool. It was very cool to flip through the magazines and see who's doing it next, and I'm very honored, very excited about being a part of it and having a milk mustache ad. Eating healthy is very important as a teenager. It's a very crucial point in your life where you just need to start eating healthy. It sounds boring. I know everybody wants to eat chocolate and candy. I am just like that, but at the end of the day, it's important to be healthy. Exercise, it doesn't have to be in the gym. You can do sports, swim, ride a bike, skate, something fun, but exercise and eating right is very, very important. Drink lots of milk. You need calcium for those bones, especially if you're going to be playing sports. You need strong bones.
After 20 years, over 70 commercials, and countless milk mustaches later, Got Milk separated from the mustache campaign in 2014 and was replaced with the slogan Milk Life. Milk Life and the modern Got Milk movement focus on the value of milk rather than the celebrity holding a glass of it. Dairy alternatives such as soy and almond milk have taken up a chunk of the industry as well, as many adults are lactose intolerant, sensitivity to the treatment of livestock has heightened, and the very health claims that Got Milk promoted have been challenged and even disproven in the last decade. The Got Milk campaign was definitely part of an era that was all about celebrity mystique and tradition. Although the concept of putting a known face at the center of a campaign hasn't gone anywhere, Got Milk was a part of the time before social media, when there were little to no alternatives to industry figures promoting a message through magazines, radio, and television, mediums that have been partially removed from or fully replaced within the cultural routine of consumption. With hindsight being 2020, although we can clearly understand the ulterior motive behind the brand, there's an immense amount of nostalgia when reminiscing about milk, a force constant in everyone's life, whether you drank it or not, being mixed with who would be next on the roster for a poster or what crazy scheme could be concocted for the next TV spot.